Welcome to Joffy Noodle Legs and the Horror House.
Hello guys, welcome to the channel. Welcome to another film review. Tonight we're looking at a depressing horror film called The Coffee Table, which is a Spanish film being released on Second Sight. Before we get into about the story, let's have a look at the special features on the disc. So right here we have the main menu for The Coffee Table. So we're going to have a little look at the special features. You have an audio commentary with Zoe Rose Smith and Amber T. Who Scares Us the Most? An interview with director Kay Casas. A Sensory Journey, an interview with actor David Pajar. We Are Nuts, an interview with actor, Estevana de los Santos. Natural Oppression, an interview with director of photography Alberto Morago. Postpartum, Rebecca Sass on The Coffee Table. Kay Cass's short film R.I.P. Kay Cass's short film Nada S.A. And there we go. That's the special features on The Coffee Table. So you can see it's got a little bit of a special features, not a large amount, but there's a few interviews and a commentary, which is cool. And to be honest, because it's probably all going to be in Spanish and subtitled, it's probably wise there's not too much. But let's get on to the story. Now, when I put on this film and I watched it, and I was watching the film, I wanted to throw something through the fucking TV. I'll tell you why in a bit. There's a little synopsis on the film. It's about this married couple called Maria and Jesus. Jesus is played by David Perelja, and Maria is played by Estevano de los Santos. And they've got a young baby, and they've gone to this shop to buy a table. I believe the guy who's selling it is his name is Eduardo Antuna, I think, something like that. I'm not very good with Spanish names. Anyway, he's trying so hard, and the first 15-20 minutes of the film is in the shop, him trying to convince them to buy the table. Maria thinks it's absolutely shit, and she hates it. She absolutely hates it. But I'm not saying she's a control freak, but she's always gets her way with everything. The baby's room, the baby's colour. The baby, Jesus didn't want Jesus, or Jesus didn't want one yet. I think it was too early, but she wanted one. So she got it. She chose the name, she did the room, everything. So Jesus is set on getting this table, this coffee table, as his little statement to, to define himself, that he still has some control over something. She doesn't want him to buy it, and the conversation goes on between the shop assistant and these two, and it's brilliant. It's so cool. It's like a sort of real sort of dark humor behind it. It's so funny and really good. Anyway, eventually he decides to buy the table. After much debate, I say this conversation goes on for quite a while, and they get to then we see their apartment. They live in a flat, and they live on the top floor. And Jesus is trying to get this table up to the top floor. It's a strange table. It's got a glass table, but with these sort of fake gold women figurines like holding this glass up. I quite liked it, to be honest, but there we are. Anyway, he's trying to get this up the stairs, and he eventually gets up there, and we bump into two of the neighbours. I'm trying to think of their names. I think the young girl's called Ruth, and I don't know what her mother's name is. Anyway, and they start having a conversation about being new parents, blah, 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 and Jesus saying how he hates the baby's name, and all this sort of thing. But they're saying, oh, you know, you've got to have another one, this woman was saying, because 2 makes it a great number. And finally, she goes off and Ruth, the young girl, starts taking to Jesus, and she's got some obsession over Jesus. I think she fancies him, and she's fantasizing that they're having this affair. Well, they're not. What happened is Jesus been sending her poems, love poems, to help her with her school. She's only 13, and she's doing this poetry thing at school, and he's been sending her poems to help her with her studying. And she misinterprets this as she fancies him, and he's liked a photo of her dog on Instagram, and so she thinks, oh yeah, he definitely likes me. So she's got it into him, and she wants Jesus to tell Maria that they're having an affair, but obviously they're not. Anyway, so this carries on for a little bit, and they're going to the flat, and they're still arguing about the table. They're like almost like newlyweds. They're arguing quite a lot. Maria's very sort of like sarcastic to Jesus, and Jesus just wants an easy sort of life, I think. And they start sort of arguing about stuff and about the table, and the table's got one screw loose. There's one screw missing, which secures the glass to the table. Anyway, Maria decides to go off to the shops to do the shopping, and she's asking him what he wants. She said, "We'll get eggs and that one," because his brother's coming round. I think his brother's name is Carlos, played by Josep McMaria, and he's got a girlfriend called Christina, played by Claudia Rivera. We see them a bit later in the film. So Maria goes off to the shops to do the shopping, and then the thing happens when Jesus is left in charge with the baby. You can imagine what it is, but I'm not going to say it because I don't want to give any spoilers. And then he becomes, I don't know the word, the film becomes extremely depressing, yet still some humor in the film, but extremely fucking depressing. And he tries to cover up this mistake, that his brother and his girlfriend, Carlos and Christina, arrive, and they start having a dinner and all this sort of stuff, and he's trying to hide stuff up, and cover things up, just doesn't want anyone to find out. Whilst he is holding this all in, he's becoming majorly depressed and suicidal. And in the film sort of unfolds to this sort of climatic end, which I'm not going to tell you. So that's a little synopsis of the film. Let's jump into the characters. So the characters. So this is why I wanted to throw something through the fucking TV, because Jesus was just so annoying. The whole film, I was saying, just fucking tell her. But the whole film, it doesn't tell her till, the climatic end. It was like, it's a whole film of like, not a cover, as a cover up, really. And I was just thinking, how can you keep this thing quiet? And all this while they're going to look around with the brother and the sister, and girlfriend looking around the house, and we get to see the baby's room with all the toys. And my little baby makes a guest appearance in the film. And it was just like, the whole film's a cover up till the end. But I've got to say, he plays it really well. If I knew him, I'd want to punch his fucking lights out, because I'm sorry for the swearing, but this film is aggravated me. And I would have hit him, and I just thought, you know, whatever. Maria, she plays the Estevano de Los Santos, plays a role fantastic. She's really cool, and I really like his brother Carlos. He's really cool. Yes, the little girl Ruth is really fucking annoying. It's a little bit of a storyline that didn't need to be there, to be honest. But it is. The film was directed by, is it K.E. Casas? Something like that. It's a Spanish name. I don't know. But it's really well directed. And I loved the shop assistant. He's fantastic. He turns up later at the flat with the screw that's missing. And he pretty much tells Jesus his undying love for him. He likes him and wants to take him for dinner. It's really bizarre. And there are some other little characters in the film. A couple of police officers and stuff like that at the end. But that is pretty much the cast. And they play the parts really, really well. So what did I think of the film? It's an amazing film. I'm giving it 9 out of 10. Yes, it irritated me and it annoyed me. It really frustrated me. And it is so depressing and so downbeat, but yet lots of moments of humour in the film. It was so clever. Really well crafted as a film. Really cool. It's a very powerful concept. Although it doesn't actually deal with a lot of the consequences of the thing that happened, it only deals with one person, like I said, because the whole film plays out like a cover-up. The horror is a horror film, 100% horror film, and it's really quite disturbing. To think of this sort of thing happening, and it broke my heart and it frustrated me. I wanted to knock Jesus out. It just really annoyed me, but that just tells what a wonderful film it was. Really, really cool. Now, the pluses of this edition, it looked really cool. It is a modern film. It was made in 2022, but it wasn't released around here till last year. So that's why I class it as a horror film from last year. And it's a really cool film. Really enjoyed it. There is some gore in the film. There is some upsetting scenes, but they're not unwatchable. It's filmed in a very sort of tasteful way. There is some sort of like threats of suicide and stuff like that, and trauma. So be aware of that if you do watch it. But I do recommend seeing it, just because of that mixture of this dark humour, mostly from Maria, who's hilarious. She's great in the film. And then the most depressing storyline you could ever think of. And it just sort of works. It's really, really cool. The Coffee Table, 9 out of 10. Any of you guys seen it? If you have, let me know down below. It was absolutely wonderful, wonderful film. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was so cool. It was just great to watch it, although it really frustrated me and my heart was tearing apart in the film. But that just shows what a great film it is, and I really enjoyed it, so I do recommend it. Guys, please check out some other horror channels for me. Check out Horror Hands, Horror Geek, Man v Film, RS Design, Pizzlewell. I'm Ice Lord, Cat Watches Horror Movies, Grumpy Andrew's Haunted House, and The Maniac. And a massive shout out to my lad. Till next time, look after yourselves, look after one another, and I really hope I see you all soon.